What's going on, guys? I'm doing brakes on the 2020 Subaru Forester today, the Sport. Sport has bigger front brakes than, I think it's just the basic model. I think it's the only one that has smaller front brakes. I think it's the Sport, the Limited, and something else has the bigger front disc. But did all the other ones, just showing you how to do the rear, because it's the screw-in calipers. Which is 19 mil on the lug. Rip the tire off. Obviously, if you ain't got an impact, just get you a long breaker bar and a 19 and do it that way. Alright, setting it on these. Back here you got little caps to pull the caliper off of the bracket. Pop caps off. Be one top and bottom. And that is a 7mm Allen key inside. Right would be its left. And they're pretty tight. I have to take a bigger wrench, slip the box over it, break it loose. Same on the bottom. Come on, line up. Break it loose. Come on. Spin them out. Well, as I should say too, the connector for the electronic park brake. Did I press that side? I think there's a little clip. Come on. Oh, the other side came right off. This one's not. And of course it's snowing, so all the snow melting out from under the car makes everything all wet. I need to push that or pull that. Grab a light. See what I need to do. There's this. Oh. Oh yeah, right down. Yeah, see? Alright, I gotta push it in a little bit. Not again. Alright, I see what I need to do. Get me a little pick, because a little pick or a small screwdriver or something. Be very gentle with it, because them little tabs will break easy. But up here, Pop the tab over it. Come on. Pull it off, like so. Oh. And where did I put? Oh, it's still in it. Okay. Now let's keep running these bolts out. Front brakes, like on most things, way easier than the rear because they always have that some kind of parking brake set up. But it is what it is. Pop these out. I'll clean them up a little bit before I put them back on and put a little grease on them. These things, yep, pop that off. Wiggle off. Come on. Well, that pad stuck to it, I guess. Off. Man, that thing really stuck to it. That slides off, slides out the back. Same thing, front and back, they just sit on these little notches. Pretty easy design on them. You want the little spring on top, goes back by the piston. That's off, set it up out the way. And these ones are 17 mil, I do recall. That second one. The other one's kind of hard to get to. Can't get no like ratchet wrench on it. I mean, if you had swivel, you'd probably get a socket on it. But I don't know, wrench is just pretty easy. You break it loose and you unscrew with your hand. They're not too corroded up. And these two bolts are same size, so don't matter if you mix them up, put this on top, other one on bottom, what have you. But nothing on that. And then now on these, I'm guessing just because they get corroded on, take a couple, I got 5/16 coarse thread bolts, put them in. Hopefully I can pull this off with them one more time. Just a 1/2 inch socket, run them in, and it'll press on the hub, pull the rotor right out. This is just Harbor Freight bolts, so ain't gotta get no grade 8 bolts or nothing crazy to press them on and off. Now the fun part is these. Got this tool from Harbor Freight. Comes with other adapters and stuff, but for the Subaru we need the number 6, and then that's how you put the little backing plate on it. But line it up, spin this out, get it where it needs to be, and that is, use 7/8 to hold it. Wait, how did I do that on that last one? Yeah. You just hold it with your hand, twist it in. They're nothing too crazy. I mean, ain't gotta be He-Man or nothing. Lord knows I ain't. But you'll feel it bottom out. And then back this, or run, I should be running this in, loosen that up so you ain't unscrewing that back out. Pop it off. And there you have it. It's pressed all the way in, ready to put new rotor and yeah, see, because when they're new, they're not corroded up on that lip to hold them tight just fine. They don't, the lug nuts will suck everything up in the bracket. Everything else, lug nuts will hold everything tight. You ain't got to worry about coming off or moving on you. Now, hold that up straight so that way the bracket's somewhat straight, and should be able to thread it all the way in with your hand. The bottom one, pull it in or out, line it up the rest of the way, run it in with your fingers. And all these brake parts are off of Rock Auto. I mean, I price them from AutoZone, O'Reilly's, all that. It's been like over $400 just for basic run-of-the-mill pads and rotors. And these are some kind of, no, special coating on them. But all four rotors, pads, new hardware, all that come, I think it's like $280. Heck of a deal compared to the big part stores. Probably just looked at it. Yep, there it is. 10, 17. Them tight. Tight. If you want to, you can double check, but pretty tight. Alright, now for these, go to the other side and grab some of this, clean her up a little bit. It ain't too bad. Some little paper, I mean, really, you could probably just brush them off. Be perfectly fine. But you gotta go too crazy on them. So that one ain't as bad as this one. Like I said, I mean, really, if you just brush that loose stuff off, put it back together, it'll probably be alright. Said good enough. Ain't perfect. It gotta be. It just has to be good enough. Now set those off to the side. And where I do with the new pads there. New pads for this side. I said the spring on top goes in, but they just sit there in that little groove. On the spring and a little squealer. Same thing. Groove on front and back. That sits in. I have noticed these are kind of a little more clearance is a little bit tighter on slapping all these back together compared to the front. I'm guessing just because this brake hose is so tight it ain't funny. But once it goes, it'll go. Like so. Get them slid around and they're in place. Everything's all good and all good on that end. And I must have left the new little spring over here. Yeah. It comes with all the new pieces like that, but this time I ain't gonna put them on. Don't need to. They ain't packed full of a bunch of crud or nothing. That goes there. That pops in like so. Sits under there in them holes. That's all good. That's it. Really on these, not really think that as big a deal. I like to always lube them up. They ain't really look like that any lube on them. Take them apart, but something's gotta be better than none, right? Especially going back into the old stuff. Just real light coat. Nothing crazy. And then the fun part of running them all back in with a 7mm Allen key. Let's use some pressure. Get her lined up a little bit. Come on. That's it. Done it. Sucks about Allen heads. I guess you could. I probably have these in the toolbox. Fit for a 3/8 drive or something, but it'd take me longer to find it than it would just to sit here and slowly run all these in. And same thing. They get down there to the end. That's tight enough. It ain't gotta be running by no impact or nothing crazy. But at least this bottom one, you can spin it around on the fast side. And then, yep, unplug, just pop it back in, get your little boot back on it. Yeah. Run the tire on and be done with it. The only difference in the front and rear on this one, other than the rotor side and calipers, is take your 19, run your lugs off, and then these bracket bolts are 19, and it has I want to say 14 millimeter was the bolts for the slides. So you just pop them out, lube up the slide a little bit like we did with this, run them back in. But it ain't no electronic brake or no fancy twist in. You just get you a pair of channel locks, C-clamp, or use this tool, put the old brake pad in, and then you just press it. Simple. Alright. Oh, almost forgot the little caps. Caps back in. Just push in. Start the lugs with my fingers. Come on. There we go. So just make sure you get them started straight. Thread on good with your fingers before you grab your impact, or I say breaker bar, ratchet, whatever you got. You could run them down. Now like with this one, big impact's dead. So I'll snug all these up. Those are all snug. The big impact wasn't dead. I just zip them on and forget about it, but that one don't get nothing too tight. And just jacking it up off the pin trail. Sit her down. Grab your 19 breaker bar. Put it on. So these are, so that little 3/8 impact just don't do the job. Then check it. I always check the first and second one I did. Everything's tight, brakes are back on. Now when you fire the car up after doing the brakes, because you're pressing them pistons in and out, give it a couple pumps before you take it, put it in reverse or drive and take off, because you'll have no brakes for the first probably pump or two. So fire it up, pump it up. I don't know if the key is close enough for me to show you. But see, it's real easy. Just pump it. Good to go. Yep. Now, clean up your mess and get her out of the garage. Well, till next time.